What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got a fun one. So this is a 1997 Seadoo GSX. I recently sold this ski to a friend. He took it out on the lake. It was fine. When I had it, it was doing fine. Actually, it was just recently in the shop getting a lot of work done. But it seems now to be kind of bogging out, and after some quick diagnostics, it looked like the rear carb may be clogged up, as the front one was firing a lot of fuel and the rear does not seem to be getting any fuel. So today what we're going to do is clean some carburetors, and I'm going to show you guys how I run through all of them. This is probably the two more. This is the 5th set I'll be doing this season, so we've gotten pretty efficient at it. This one I'm not going to do the full gaskets on because, like I said, it recently did have the carbs ran through it by a shop. Generally at this point I would compression test the motor too, but my compression tester has been incredibly inaccurate recently. So we're just going to run through the carbs, hook it up to the hose, and hope it cranks up. Realistically, this is an hour-and-a-half job. If it's your first time, for us, we'll run through it in probably like 45 minutes. Just because I'm going to pull them off, spread the jets out, make sure they're clear. See how the floats look. It's not overflowing fuel or anything like that, so I don't think it's a float issue. That ski over there only has 91 original hours, so that's why I sort of doubt its piston rings. Granted, it could have been sitting for a long time. When you have a ski with that minimal use, it's always a concern that that thing sat for a long time. There's rust in the cylinders at one point. So we'll see what we can do about it. It ran great the days I had it, so I don't really think it's that. Someone put a lot of money recently into upkeep on it, so I think it's going to be a simple issue like something clogging the jets up, but we're just going to clean them out and see. Some of you might be wondering, that is not the ski we recovered. This is this Tyler ski. That one I got in a recent package deal, and it just so happens that it matched this one perfectly. So here's a better look at this ski. Like I said, it's 91 original hour ski. I bought it with another ski that had 110 original hours on it. As you see, motor's super clean, no leaks. It has Motion Pro fuel lines on it, so that tells me someone put some money into it. Looks like someone did hot wire the coil system. I'm guessing at some point it wasn't getting spark, and that was the easiest route. I was told it has a new ECU as well. But this ski is very clean. The only other issue we noticed is the VTS motor stopped working shortly into the day. So we're gonna tear into this and go from there. Now the first step on pulling these carbs is we're gonna take this air box off, these Allen bolts, and then there'll be a series of Allen bolts underneath. This box is semi-simple. You just push down on these, push up, sorry, and slide. And then there'll be 2 more on the back. I'm gonna get those off and I'll show you what the inside of the box looks like. So now you can see we have the lid off. There's a series of Allen bolts in there. I believe they're number 4s. 6 of them right there. Take those off, take these 2 off, and you'll have access to the carburetors. Alright guys, so as you saw, we got the air filter out on the box and the bracket holding it to the exhaust pipe right here. So there's your carbs right there. There's gonna be 4 bolts. There's one here, but they're either 5s or 6s, and there's 2 on the opposite side. We're gonna take those out, and then also these 4 bolts in here. So we'll do that when I check back in this whole plate. Alright guys, so as you can see, got the carburetors basically off. I just have to disconnect the choke, which is this right here. I'll just take these 2 10mm bolts off, pop them off, and then as you can see, oh, there's one closed cylinder, and there's an open one. Should have a light I can get in there to see that crank a little better. But yeah, I'm gonna pull that all apart, get the carbs off. First we'll diagnose those, and then I guess we'll slap it back together and see what it does. But yeah, when I check back with you guys, we'll be on the table and we'll be stripping carbs and cleaning out the jets. All right guys, so here are our carburetors. Someone's already set this up for easy, we'll call it easy maintenance. These are our 4 bolts that are hard to hold them in. I just need to get this one off so I can get this stupid bracket out of the way. And I can pop that fuel line off. I will have to cut one of those zip ties. All right. All right, now we have 2 separate carburetors. First things first. There's some gunk in our filter, not enough to really stop it, but there is gunk. Let me look in here. So that's our fuel feed right there. All in all, it looks fine. I'm gonna blow it out with some air and carb cleaner, and I'll check back in with you. All right, so we got our filter cleaned out. That all looks fine. Now I'll check the other side where the float in the jet is. And hope maybe there's just a little piece of gunk over there stopping us. All right. This side should be a little more interesting. This is the back or the front carb. This is the rear carb. So in theory, this should be the one that has gunk in it, if anything, if I remember correctly. The diaphragm is kind of at a weird angle, but I don't think that's anything to be concerned with. These 2 bolts here, they're going to be the ones that lock in, or sorry, this 1 bolt here, your float. Now your float here is responsible for the level of fuel allowed in the carb, and it kind of shuts off the carburetor when your carb has received enough fuel. Like if you're just dumping gas at your exhaust after a carb rebuild, it is more than likely an issue with the float. Or if you're not really starting or having running issues, or you can visibly see when you pull the plugs it's not pumping a lot of gas, that it's an actual jet issue. Which, since we just weren't getting enough fuel, if anything, I would assume a jet issue. Alright, take a look in here, guys. So we have this plate off. That has that's like your jet plate. So there is our main jet right there. That's responsible for, sorry, this jet here is responsible for anything above like 15% throttle. And there's a little tiny one in here. Right in here, another little flathead. that jet is going to be responsible for idle. I'm guessing if anything it's a main jet issue, so I'm going to pull that out, clean it. Well, sorry, clean both of them, and then hopefully we have our issue figured out. I'm optimistic. These jets are somewhat of a pain in the ass to get out. See if I can find a good screwdriver for that. Alright guys, so there they are. Those are your carburetor jets. These two little things, idle, open throttle, are responsible for all the fuel delivery in it. And as you can see, they're a very little tiny hole. And these ones actually look pretty clean. So I'm gonna spray out all the passageways and just hope there was something in there. It's hard to focus on that one, but what you're looking for, like in this one, is to be able to see right through them like that, and you'll be able to see it with both. They make little carb jet cleaners. I always just use a piece of guitar string or like mechanics wire, something kind of threaded and abrasive that you can put through there. But yeah, I'm gonna actually soak those while I run an errand real quick. I'm gonna pull the ones out of this one as well, and when we get back, we'll just kind of see what we're left with. I'll use a concoction of carb cleaner, acetone, and some other, really just whatever chemicals I have that could eat anything out of this, and we'll let them soak for about an hour, and then I'll check it back in and we'll slap it back all together. Alright guys, so this is just a concoction of brake cleaner, acetone. Yeah, that's it. And as you can see, we've got all our jets in there. Boom. Carbs really don't look that dirty. There's some buildup in the corner of this one where there isn't in this one, which makes sense because this is the one that was having issues. So I'm gonna clean all this up. I'm gonna run to the store and get some more cleaning supplies and stuff like that. Let it sit for about 45 minutes in here. But yeah, I'm gonna run and do that. When I check back in, we'll be assembling these guys and then hopefully popping them back on the ski, and she's ready to rip. All right guys, so off camera, I popped the jets and the gaskets back in. So what we did was blow air through all the passages. Every passage, let the jets soak in acetone and carb cleaner, and then we blew air through those to make sure they're all cleaned out. So you see we got a nice surface. So now what we're gonna do is pop these gaskets back in, put it all back together, and hopefully this was just the issue. But like I said, I'm gonna get on reassembling these, and next time you catch me, we'll be putting these carbs back in the motor. It seems like my light's failing. All right, well, my light's dying, guys. So I'm gonna get this wrapped up. Goes back the same way it went together, and I'm gonna throw this on the charger, and then I'll catch you guys back when we have better light again. All right, guys. So carbs are all put back together. All the passages are cleaned out. That was a basic kind of run through. Really just a jet cleaning. There's a lot of filters and other things in here that you can replace when you do a full rebuild. I actually have to do a full rebuild on this one. 90% of the skis I bring home, usually the jets and the bowls are just clogged up with a bunch of gunk. This one, when I pulled it apart earlier in the season, the rear bowl had just rust full of it. So I already know this one's going to be interesting, but it ran great, but that's a whole separate story. But this, like I said, basic carb refresh with reusing the same gaskets. All the diaphragms and everything in here look good, so I'm not worried about that. The bowls were fairly clean, and the jets themselves look good. I know these were just ran through recently, so I wasn't too worried about the gaskets. Yes, the proper way is to replace all those gaskets, run through it again, but I'm very faithful that these carbs are fine as is, and that if there's any further issues, it's not related to these. So yeah, we're gonna get these put it back in. Unfortunately, the reinstallation process, my arms would kind of block the entire thing. So I'm assuming if you made it this far, got the carbs and the jets cleaned, and you put your gaskets in, that you have the technical ability to what you did taking it out, and we're just going to put them back in the exact same way. Set them in there, attach all the throttle cables, put them in, make sure you attach the bottom fuel line that goes here. Put your full bolts on, and then when I check back in, it'll be at the point where we need to put the air box on. So yeah, I'm going to start assembling all this, put it back in, and next time you see me, we'll just be slapping the air box on and hopefully about to fire it up. Alright guys, make this quick before I get copyrighted, but everything's back in. I'm gonna get it all bolted up, put everything back together, and then I'm gonna hook the hose up to it, and then we'll run it, and hopefully she's good to go. Alright guys, so that's it for the quick carb refresh. As you can see, we got everything bolted back together. This battery is just a little low for some reason. I think that hardwire drains the battery over time, so I'm probably gonna put a switch on that. But carbs are in, everything is ready to go. I'm gonna let it charge, like I said, in the next clip. I'll crank it up. I've got no doubt in my mind that this thing's gonna start right up. All right, guys. So it is the next morning. I let the skis soak overnight with some of my mystery concoction in the cylinders. Just because I have a hunch this thing's been sitting for a little while, got our water on. Let's see how she cranks. Oh, baby. I think we're back in business. Oh yeah, sounds good. That's how you do it. Thanks for watching. In a couple seconds I'll show you crank up, but if you don't care about that, catch you guys next time.